So, last year I did a design video, and because I am not that creative, we're doing this again this year. And for the same reason that I am not creative enough, we're doing an aesthetic generator. So I don't have to come up with a theme, just a design. So let's actually generate some aesthetics. Okay, so I generated a couple of aesthetics, and here are the ones that I found interesting enough. Honey aesthetic, clown core, and bug core. So let's start with the honey aesthetic. The first look I wanted to be more stereotypically feminine. I started off with a kind of beekeeper-like hat because my main inspiration for this was of course honey, but also bees and beekeepers and stuff like this. I low-key kind of think this is basically just cottagecore but yellow, but with a cool name, I guess. So I settled for a dress. I gave it those puffy sleeves. I want the sleeves to be a light fabric, probably chiffon or something like this. And honestly, I think the skirt and the bodice would be a separate part, and then a shirt or a chemise kind of like dress underneath. I wanted for the sleeve portion to be very light, and then the actual dress to be from a stiff wool yellow material. You can see I draw some details on this. This was supposed to be embroidery, bees or flowers. Now for a closer look at the hat. So it was obviously inspired by beekeepers' hats, but I wanted it to be from a lighter sort of material, probably either a net or a chiffon, but I wanted it to basically look more droopy like honey instead of just regular or instead of just regular net, I guess. And I want the lower portion of it to also be covered with bee and flower embroidery. Now for this drawing, it's kind of a concept of the underdress for the first drawing. I guess it could also be a separate dress, but here are just a bit more of the details of that one. So I want the embroidery to be on the sleeves and on the skirt, especially at the bottom, but I didn't have enough space here to draw this. It could be either just normal embroidery or the fabric, but I also was just inspired by those kind of ribbon embroideries that are then covered by another sheet of fabric and look kind of like flowers in honey. Next, I wanted a bit more practical look, I guess. So we have again a beekeeper hat, this time just a pretty straightforward beekeeper hat without any of the detailing. Some longer shorts and a probably linen button up, just something that would be in general a bit more practical. I also gave it those higher boots, which I don't actually think are that practical, because for some reason I thought practical but forgot that this person is wearing a beekeeper hat, which means probably they deal with bees, and having your knees out and forearms out are probably not very practical for that. So this is why I drew a new concept for the pants. I left the high boots, but I basically chose a kind of Victorian biker pants look. So it's still shorter pants, but your legs would be actually covered up. So I guess a bit more practical, but let's be honest, this is kind of more aesthetic than practical. All of this would be in different yellows, maybe even whites, with embroidery, painting, or just in the yellow color, to be honest. Because I that's honey. I don't know what else you could expect for that. Now for this next one we have backcore. So I didn't want to do anything butterfly related. Instead I settled for doing a moth, because there already exists a lot of either butterflies or bees related fashion, and I low-key think a lot of moths look pretty cute. I wanted to go with that. I also saw this moth inspired cape and I wanted to do something similar, but instead of making just a normal cape, I want this to be basically a blanket you can walk in. Because I know we all do this thing when we just drag our blankets with us on a cold day, so I wanted to make something just to hang out at home. This is why this person is wearing pajama pants, because why the hell not? So I think in the original cape I was inspired by pretty much most of the wings was in the back. This is why in this one I want the whole person to be covered, both the front and the back, so it's full and comfortable. Also moths and I guess butterflies in general have those kind of double wings when they have the main wings and the kind of wings under them. So this is why the back looks like this. I actually don't remember what kind of moth this is, so I probably will put one on screen. But there are many very cute moths in very different colors. There's this pink one, so if you like pink and you still want to be a moth, that's perfectly valid because that exists. So honestly, I just think this is something Universes everybody would love. This would be probably out of wool. The cape I was inspired by was, I think, painted wool, but I think you could do something quilted for this. For the next outfit, I wanted to go for a beetle, but honestly, I didn't want to make this straight up a beetle, so it's kind of this generic black outfit, I would guess. Just kind of giving the vibe of a beetle, something slightly more masculine, I guess. The main piece of this one would probably be a backpack, and also what would be important is probably the materials that all the regular clothes will be made from. So beetles, though are usually black, can also have those crazy monochromatic colors. So I would want this outfit to be either black or have those monochromes in it. For the backpack, I drew two different kinds. Those are pretty similar, but there already exists like beetle-inspired backpacks. I would probably kind of want this to be mostly the wings of a beetle, because my idea of it is that the person is dressing up as a beetle, but there are backpacks you can already get that are in itself beetles. This is why the upper one kind of looks more like, in general, a bag, and the second one is just straight up wings. So that's that. Now for this last one we have clown core. So I start off with the kind of stereotypical clown outfit, which is this big onesie, I guess, kind of pajama looking thing, which I've seen in a lot of kind of vintage depictions of clowns, I guess. It's very baggy and it doesn't really looks like anything when it's just like this, because I gave it the collar and the ruffs around on the cuffs of the pants. There should be also cuffs on the sleeves, but I forgot about them. But what I think makes clowns look most like clowns is the fabric use. So you can see I draw the different patterns, so they don't really match each other, because to be honest, I think everything can look kind of clownish if you just give it a lot of colors and patterns. Here I did kind of two basic sketches, or I will do two basic sketches of just some clown makeup, but it's not very detailed. It's kind of just for inspiration, because I am not very good at makeup, so I don't really have the skills to illustrate that in more detail, I guess. But what I noticed is usually clown makeup either goes into the territorium of so happy that it's kind of creepy, or just straight up really sad. So this is what those drawings are about. The upper one is supposed to be the happy to creepy one, and the upper one will be the more sad one. I guess you could also just base your entire color palette on those emotions, as I see people do, or I've seen people do on photos, I guess. That kind of sounded like I know a lot of people that dress up as clowns, which I don't. That would be great, honestly, but unfortunately not for me. So I wanted to do two different silhouettes. For the first one, I did a dress. I guess it kind of reminds me of Harley Quinn, because if I think about a clown aesthetic and make it kind of more wearable, she's who I think of. I used the same puffy sleeves, but I make them shorter, and I wanted a lot of fluff in the skirt with petticoats, and again the collar. So I gave the same patterns to this one because it looked too normal without them. To be just a little bit extra, I added stockings, also patterned, because I just wanted to make this look even more obnoxious than it already does, because I think it deserves it. I think drawing all those patterns also is a fun way to show all the textures and potentially colors without me actually using colors. So the last one, I wanted to make a more modern silhouette, so the silhouette itself is something you could wear every day. It's something I probably would myself wear, but again, it makes it into the clown core category with all the different textures and patterns and color you could put into this simple silhouette. I also changed the pajama looking pants into just more loose straight pants, because I think this is something people would more likely wear, and I gave it this kind of helicopter looking hat I've seen a lot of in like school photo shoots, because I think it matches the aesthetic and is fun. So that's all for this one, and all of them, I guess. I hope you enjoyed that. Here are all of the drawings side by side. And yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.